Baby podcast videos like this have been popping off and getting lots of views, and even top creators like these are creating baby videos for themselves as well. And so today we're going to learn how to build your own AI agent system that allows you to generate baby videos like this for any creators that you like, for your own channels, or to even do it as a service for other businesses and creators as well. So let's get started with a demo of how this actually works. You can see over here in my AI system, I do have 4 sections. The first one is to scrape the video from TikTok, and then the second one is to generate the baby images. The third is to generate the baby videos from the images, and lastly is to automatically publish them into all the different channels such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Okay, so let's see how this actually works. Let's go into the very first section first, all right, scraping the original video, right? Let's say we want to do it for someone like Alex Hormozi. We want to be able to convert all of the videos over here into a baby-fied video of himself, right? So what we want to do is to be able to scrape the information of this user account, and then we want to scrape all the audios from the TikTok account itself, and then I want to create a baby image and ultimately create a baby video from each of these reels. So let's test this out and see how this works. What I'm going to do here is to press play for the first part of my workflow, which is to scrape the video, right? So if I click this, you can see I do have a form over here, and I just have to paste in the username of the creator. And so the username is A Hormozi for Alex Hormozi. And then we're just going to choose a character image that we're going to use to babyfy. Okay, so let's say for Alex Hormozi, we want to use this image, right? And then we want to babyfy using his face and create baby videos for him. Okay, so what we're going to do is to open this, right? And we just have to upload. So once that is done, the workflow will run, all right? Let's give it a while. All right, now it's completed. Let's check out the Airtable. You can see over here, we do have the username of the account. We do have the character image. Open this up. You can see this is the image that we uploaded. Okay, and then we do have the original videos over here, right? If you take a look here, you do have all the original videos, right? We do have the audio, right? Let's open one of them and play to hear it out.
People think they need to learn more when really they just need to do more. You're not going to learn how to ride a bike by reading 10 books on how to ride a bike. You just get on the bike and then you fall and you
Right, very cool. So we do have the audio from the TikTok account as well. So once we have that, right, what we're going to do next is to generate a baby image and then change it to baby video. Okay, so in my Airtable over here, in this system, I don't have to do anything for the status. All I got to do next after getting the audio as well as the video URL of each of these videos, you can take a look here, is that we're going to convert them into baby videos, right? So let's go back to the n8n platform. Okay, let's run the second system, which is the generate baby images system. So let's play this out. Okay, now that it's done, let's check out Airtable again. You can see we do have the prompt for the image over here, and then we do have the baby image generated for this specific video. So let's check this out. So this is actually pretty cool, right? This is Alex Hormozi as a baby. So now we got to change that into an audio and we are done with our final file. Let's go back to n8n and we're going to run this specific system now to generate the baby video. So let's play this. Now that the video has been generated, let's check this out. You can see over here. Let's take a look. Let's play this.
People think they need to learn more when really they just need to do more. You're not going to learn how to ride a bike by reading 10 books on how to ride a bike. You just get on the bike and then you fall and you realize that you got 2 pedals in, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. And eventually you look up and you're like, holy cow, I'm actually riding this bike. Because
right, super cool, and the quality is actually super good as well, right? So now that we've completed this specific part of creating the video, what we're going to do next is we're going to upload them into our different platforms. So over here, I do have a publishing agent team that's going to upload the videos into YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as well. So let's play this and see what happens. All right, perfect. Let's check out our social media platforms now to see if we've gotten the video posted. Okay, so let's check out our Instagram account. You can see this is our test account, and you can see the baby video has been posted with a specific caption for it. Take a look. This is the video that we have generated.
You're not going to learn how to ride a bike by reading 10 books on how to ride a bike. You just get on the bike and then you fall and you realize,
right, pretty cool. And we do have it on YouTube as well. Check this out.
Do more. You're not going to learn how to ride a bike by reading 10 books on how to ride a bike. You just get on the bike and then you fall and you realize that you got
very cool. And we have it on TikTok as well. Check this out.
Really, they just need to do more. You're not going to learn how to ride a bike by reading 10 books on how to ride a bike.
Well, right? A different caption. Okay, very cool. And so that's the full system that we have generated. You can go back to n8n. You can see in this demo, we have managed to firstly scrape the original videos from the TikTok account of a creator that we want, right? For example, we could get it from this creator like Alex Hormozi, or any creators that you want to create specific videos for. And then the second part is that we actually generated the baby images in our system. Take a look over here in Airtable. We have created a baby image of the creator that we want to babyfy. And then afterwards, we generate the baby videos, right? Take a look over here. We do have the baby video. And lastly, we uploaded the video into the different platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And we changed the status to uploaded. Or you can see over here, TikTok, YouTube, as well as Instagram. Okay, and so today we're going to run through how I built this whole system and how you can actually use it to create your own babyfy video without having to code at all. So let's get right into it. Before we get started, all the blueprints are in the link in the description below, so do download them to follow along more effectively. Okay, so we're going to start off with the very first part, which is the Airtable. We're going to run through how this Airtable works, what we need in this Airtable for the system to work. So coming back to Airtable, the first thing we want to do is to have the first table over here, which is the creators table. Right over here, I do have 5 different fields. The first one is the username field, which is a single line text. But this is where we want to store the username of the creator that we want to use to babyfy. For example, if you take a look over here, it's a Homozy for Alex Homozy, right? So later on, the AI is able to script the specific videos from this specific creator that we want to babyfy. Right? Following that, we want to have a field for the character image. And this is the character image that we want to use to babyfy for this specific creator, right? And then we're going to have a link to the original videos table over here. And then we have a field called created time, okay? And one called last modified time. The field type is also last modified time. And then we want to have a record ID field. So to do so, you just want to create a formula field, and then you want to have the formula be record_ID. And that's all you need to do for the very first field, and our system will automatically update this for us. The second table that we have over here, okay, is the original videos table. Right, what I've done here, I've started off with the first field, which is captions. Right, so I'm going to use the captions from the video of the creator that I have received, right? All the captions over here for each of these different videos, okay? And then what I'm going to do is later on utilize these captions to create prompts as well as captions for our babyfied video, right? So this will be a single line text. The second one is a video URL field. Right, this is where we're going to store the different videos that we have gotten from TikTok as reference. The third is the audio URL field itself. This is where we want to be able to retrieve the audio that we've gotten from the creator's TikTok account so that we can actually use their audio to generate babyfied videos. Following that, we want to have a prompt section. This is the prompt to generate the baby images for us. And then a URL for baby images, another URL for baby videos, okay? And then we want to have the status section, right? For the status section, we want to have the first one, which is status. And in status, we want to have a couple of fields. The first is pending. Second is image generated. The third is babyfied. And the fourth is uploaded, right? So each time, as you can see from our demo earlier, if it's set to pending, it will actually trigger the next workflow to generate the images. And then it will trigger the next workflow to generate the baby videos. And once it's completed, we can then generate the final system to upload the videos for us onto our social media platforms. Of course, we want to be able to keep track of whether the videos have been posted. So we would have a YouTube upload section, a TikTok upload status, as well as a Instagram upload status. So this is for us to know that the video has been uploaded onto all these different platforms. Okay, and that's it for the Airtable. Okay, after you have created this Airtable section, what you want to do next is to create an API key and give access to this Airtable for the AI system to upload the information here. Okay, so we're going to go into airtable.com/create/tokens. And over here, you want to make sure to have this 3 scopes: data record read, data records write, and schema base read. Okay, and then you want to give it a name. And then you want to give it access to your base, which would be baby podcast over here, or any name that you have for this specific table itself. Once that is done, when you click Save Changes, you will get an API key, and we're going to add that in n8n very quickly. Let's go into n8n right now, and let's start off with the very first part of the workflow, which is to scrape the original video. So let's take a look over here at what we have created, right? If I were to click Test Workflow, okay, you can see I do have a field to ask me for information. So let's say I type Alex Homozy. If I choose the character image, I just have to upload the image I have over here, okay? And what this does, allow me to actually upload this information into my Airtable. So once I click Submit, this system will run, okay? And then once it's done running, we're gonna run through each node specifically to show you how they work. Okay, now it's completed. Let's understand how this works. Open up the first node over here. You can see in this form submission, right, what we have done so is to create a form where we want to call it TikTok Scraper, and we're going to scrape the latest videos of your favorite creator on TikTok. We give it two different fields. The first one is the username of the creator, which is text. We want to say, make sure to copy the exact creator username here. The second field name is character image, and we want it to be a file type, and we allow multiple files. Okay, what this does is that it will upload the creator username and the character image over here. And this is going to be used as reference for the next few nodes to be able to generate all these different fields over here, okay? Okay, and for the next node, we're going to upload the file to Google Drive. So after the user have uploaded the character image, like let's say for this one that we're going to use to Babyfy, we want to upload it to Google Drive so that we can reference it better later on to use it to Babyfy for our images. Okay, so you want to be able to connect your API to Google Drive. So what you're going to do there is you're going to go to console.cloud.google.com, okay? Over here, you want to create a new credential. You want to create an OAuth client ID, application type web application, give it a name, and then you want to authorize the redirect URL. And how do you find this, right? If you're using the cloud system or your own, is to go into this Google Drive node, create a new credential, and you want to copy the OAuth redirect URL over here. Okay, go back to console cloud. Paste that in over here. Okay, once you have pasted that in, create your new credential, and then you will have a client ID and client secret for that. Okay, after you're done with that, you want to go into Google Drive, search for that. Okay, go into Google Drive API, and you want to enable that. Okay, and once that is done, after keying in your client ID and client secret, you should have your Google Drive account connected. They will prompt you to log in and make sure to connect to the account that you want. Now, if you're a test user, you also want to make sure you enable this specific settings. So go into OAuth consent screen, okay, and then you want to go into audiences and make sure to put in your email over here to gain access to your Google Drive, right? This is important if you're not a business account using the Google Drive API. Okay, once that is done, come back to n8n. Make sure to connect it to the folder where you want to upload your character images. So I've created one just for the character images that I want to use. Okay, from here, I make sure the operation is uploaded. Input data field name would be character image because this will be from the previous input here. You want to drag this and paste this in, right? And then you want to give it a file name. So I give it a file name for the username of the creator. So I drag this and paste this in just like that. And I'll have something like this, okay? And then that's all you got to do, complete it, and the file will be uploaded to Google Drive. Once you have that, you can take a look over here. That's where we get the character image file over here, right, in Google Drive. Next up, we want to update Airtable, right? So after you've uploaded it to Google Drive, you want to connect to your Airtable credential, which you have gotten from previously over here, okay? And then you want to connect it to your base, which is Baby Podcast. The table is creator, right, this specific table. Okay, and then you want to give it a username, which would be from the form, on form submission. Drag and drop this username over here, drag and drop, okay? And then character image, you just want to drag and drop this as well. And that's where it will be uploaded to Airtable. After you have uploaded the creator information, the next thing you want to do is to scrape for TikTok videos and then upload the information into the original video section here as well. So how do we do that? Is we're going to use something called Apify, okay? So Apify is an application that allows you to connect to many different APIs like TikTok Scraper, Instagram Scraper, and so on and so forth. And you do have a free usage of $5 per month for the free account, so you can test it out and try it out, and it's more than enough to get started. So what you want to do is to create an account first, and then you want to search for actors, okay? And then you want to search for TikTok Scraper by Clockworks/TikTok Scraper. And in this specific scraper, it will be pay per event. So you pay per number of scrapes that you're going to do for using this specific scraper, all right? And then you're going to click into API, go into API endpoints. You're going to find run actors synchronously and get dataset items, okay? We're going to copy this, and we're going to go back to n8n, open the next node. It's a HTTP request node, and the method will be post. This is for us to use the specific API from Apify. We're going to paste in the URL and the API that we've gotten earlier. So just paste this in over here, and you should be good to go. This URL has your API key as well at the end, so make sure to not share it with anyone else, okay? After you have updated that, over here you see we do have a JSON body, right? You can keep it as it is from the template I've provided. But just to help you understand, we want to be able to scrape the profile from the user account that we have gotten. Right, so you can see previously we've gotten the specific username of the TikTok creator account. Okay, you want to paste that in under profiles. That's why you got to make sure that the username is correct, because if it's the wrong username, you will be scraping from the wrong account. Okay, and then you can change the number. Let's say results per page. For example, this could be 100 is the number of videos that you want to scrape from this TikTok account. And the profile sorting will be the latest. So it will take the latest 100 results. And then I set it to, let's say 7 days. So this will be the latest videos from the past 7 days. So you can change this as well if you want to scrape for, let's say, last 30 days or even more, and then it will generate more videos for you. You can see over here in Airtable, in the past 7 days, we do have like 18 videos. So that is a lot of videos, right? Okay, so once that is done, this will be what you use to scrape TikTok for all the information. Okay, then we're going to get the audio itself, right? For all the different videos that we have scraped, we want to have the audio file from the video so that we can actually use it to babyfy and create our baby videos. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the previous node. I'm going to drag over this specific field play URL, paste this in, and this is the audio file that we have gotten from each TikTok video that we have scraped. Okay, and then after we have gotten it, you can see over here,
people think they need to learn more.
right? This is the audio file, right? Make sure that this is available. Once it is done, I'm going to download the audio into Google Drive as well. Now this is important because the audio that you have scraped from TikTok scraper on Apify is temporary. You have to upload it to Google Drive to use it before it actually expires, right? So the next note I'm going to do is to upload the file again. I'm going to give the file name, which would be author user underscore JSON ID. This is for me to understand which file I'm getting. So if you take a look below as a preview, it would be the username of the creator as well as the JSON ID for each of this file. Okay, and then make sure to set it to a folder where you want to upload all these audios into. Once that is done, you're going to update Airtable as well. So we're going to have a create record, and then we're going to set the base to be baby podcast table original videos, and the value to send, you want the caption to be the caption from the TikTok scraper. Going to get audio, right? You do have the text over here. So we just have to paste this in, and then the video URL will be the TikTok video that we have scraped previously. So go into get audio over here. Just want to drag over the web video URL, paste this in, and then the audio URL would be from Google Drive instead, because that's what we're going to use to create our baby videos. So if you go into the Google Drive node, the last one, we're just going to drag over the web view link, paste this in. And there you have it. The videos will be uploaded into Airtable. And you can see over here, we do have all the video URLs from TikTok. Take a look.
People think they need to learn more.
This is our reference. And then we do have the audio URL, which is in Google Drive. Take a look here as well. Perfect. Okay. Now that's done, we have completed the scraping process. And then all we're going to do next is to go into the next part, which is to generate the baby images. Okay, so similarly, I'm going to play this once, and then we're going to run through each of the nodes one by one to understand how did we actually build this system. Okay, now that's completed, let's check this out. If you go back to Airtable, you can see over here for the second video, we do have the baby image generated, right? Take a look. Another baby image for our video. Okay, so what this does is it will generate baby image for us. You can either generate a new baby image for every single video if you want, or if you don't want to do that, you could just copy this and change the status to image generated, so that you can keep the same image for different videos. Okay, but for this example, we have generated a new image for the second video over here. Right, so let's go back to n8n to see how this works. The first node I have is a schedule trigger node, and this is to schedule this specific trigger either by clicking test tab, or you set it by a trigger of intervals of days or months or minutes. So it's up to you on how you want to schedule this specific trigger. Secondly, we're going to go and search records. We're going to have an Airtable node, which is to search records from the base baby podcast, and the table will be from original videos. And the status will be equals to pending, so that we can find the videos that would be pending so that we can generate the images for them. And then you can go back here, you can see the limit I set to 1 and I did not return all. And this is because I want to showcase the example of how we generate for each of them. But if you click return all, it will generate a new image for every single video out there. So you can do that as well if you want to automatically generate for everything over here. But for test purposes, if you want to keep it generated one by one, I will set this to only returning to the limit of 1. Okay, and then I sort it by status. It will be from the very first video to the very last video one by one. So you can see over here, that's why we actually generated the image for this specific video instead of the others below as well. So it will go down in a sequential manner all the way down, and then it will go down from here as well. Okay, and then Once that is completed, we're going to go into the next node, which is the AI agent node. So now to generate the images that we want, we need an AI agent to create a prompt for us. So I'll have an AI agent node over here. Open this up. You can see for the prompt, I give it video caption, which will be from the captions from the original video. This is what it's going to use as reference to generate a different type of baby image for each video to sort of create that element and tone for it. And I give it a system message, which is the instruction. I tell it its role is an expert image prompt generator, specialized in creating photorealistic prompts for generating a baby version of a given creator or person. I give it a task, which is a short, catchy title of 2 to 4 words max that captures the essence or vibe of the baby image generated. Right? I want it to be a highly detailed, vivid image prompt. I give it some requirements as well, such as the subject should be a baby or toddler version of the provided person with facial features and profiles recognizably similar but stylized to look cute and age appropriate. And I also want a baby to be seated in a professional podcast studio desk with a high quality microphone in front of them. Now you can always change this depending on how you want the image to be like. I'll give you a couple more examples as well, like the setting, the podcast studio setting, and some example input and output. So you can take a look over here. This is the video caption, and then the output would be a JSON format. Now, why did I set a JSON format is because I want 2 different output fields from this agent. The title is to tell me what kind of baby image is creating for this specific creator, right? It can be a determined toddler or it could be a shy toddler as well. And then I want a prompt, which I'm going to use to generate the baby image for us, okay? And how we're going to do so is to make sure to set required specific output format. And if I go to output parser, you want to make sure this JSON example is paste over here as well. And then at the end of it, we will have 2 different fields that we can use and map them accordingly. Okay, go back. We also want to connect it to a chat model for this agent to work. So what I'll use is OpenRouter. I'll go into openrouter.com, create an account, make sure to have some credits, and then you can select a variety of models over here. That's why I like OpenRouter, because I can use different models with this same API key. Okay, go back to n8n, make sure to update this, add in your credentials and your API key over here. And then you want to choose your model. You can choose 4o mini or any other models as well. So to keep it simple, I'm just going to use 4o mini for this example. Once that is done, we're going to get the image from Airtable. So this is where we're going to get the original image as reference right over here. Okay, I'm going to choose from the creator table. The record ID would be from this specific node. Paste this in, and this is for us to know that it's from this specific creator over here. Right, you can see every single video is actually linked to the specific creator. And if I open this hidden field, right, I've actually created a field from the previous creator Airtable over here. If I insert right, I actually link to another record, right, and actually link it to the original videos. You know that these different videos are from this specific creator, so you can also use this system to create for other creators as well. Okay, we're just going to hide this. All right, and coming back to n8n, this should be enough for us to get access to the specific image that we want for this specific creator. Okay, and then the next field we're going to do is to download the file, right? We want to choose the URL, which would be from character image. You want to paste this in, and we're going to get the file. Right, this is the original file. After downloading that, we want to create the baby image, and that's where we're going to use GPT-4o image generator, because I think the quality is actually pretty amazing. And so we're going to go to platform.openai.com, make sure to add in some credits, and then you want to create a new secret key over here. Okay, go back to n8n. You're going to open this up. Make sure that this is a HTTP request. The URL is api.openai.com/v1/images/edit. Make sure to create a new API key under header of. Name this authorization, and you want the value to be bearer. And then you want to paste in your API key over here. Right, so if I paste that in, you have the full API key, and then you just rename this to OpenAI. Okay, I'm going to close this because I already have it over here. So once it's connected, we will send a body, and then the image that we're going to use to edit would be from the previous field over here. And then we're going to give it a prompt, which would be from our agent. Okay, so you can see over here from our agent, we want to send the prompt over, paste this in, and then the model would be GPT image 1. And once that's completed, you will see something like this, which means the image has been generated for us. And then you want to convert the file, so you just want to keep this as it is. View, and you will have the baby image over here. Perfect. The base 64 input will be taken from the OpenAI API, so I'll just drag this and paste this in. And lastly, once we have the baby image, we just have to upload it to Google Drive. Open this up. Okay, give it a file name. So I like to use the reference from my previous notes. You can see over here I've gotten it from get original image. I take the username, paste this in, which would be a Hormozy _ and then I would put in the type of baby that we have generated, which would be from here. Paste this in, and this is the adaptable baby version. Okay, and then we just want to upload it into a folder that we have created. And once that is done, make sure to update Airtable as well. So we're going to set the base to baby podcast, table original videos, and the ID want to match it to the specific field, right? So it's important to make sure that we don't upload the image to other specific videos as well. So where we're going to get this is to go into search video, drag and paste this ID over here. And then the baby prompt, we want to use it from the image prompt agent, paste this in. Baby image would be from the latest node over here. And then we're just going to choose web view link, paste this in. And that's all you got to do, and change the status to image generated. Press back and you're good to go. Go into Airtable. And that's where we have gotten this new image for the baby as well as the updated status. So once we have completed this step, we now have the baby image as well as the audio file. All we got to do is to piece them together to create our baby video and upload them onto our social platforms. So now let's go into creating the baby video. Going back to n8n, we're going to go into the third part of the system, generating baby videos. So once again, let's test this out. And we're going to run through the node to see how this works. Okay, now it's completed. Let's check out what we have gotten. Go back to Airtable, you can see the new baby video has been generated and status have been changed to baby5. Let's take a look. All right, let's download this. All right, and there we have it. Open this up. Let's take a look at what we have gotten. Play this out.
Plans are bullshit. I'll give you a quote from one of my executive bodyguards. So he's had a bunch of people die next to him and he was in combat and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, what's the one biggest thing that changed about your worldview from having all these people who are so close to you just die tomorrow, like overnight? You see them and the next day they're blown up. He like thought for a second. He was like, plans are bullshit. Guys like, yeah, man, I'm going to be out, in 2 weeks after my 4 years.
Cool, very cool. We do have the full video and this is a 1 minute video, so that's pretty cool. Right, okay, let's go back to our n8n and see how did we actually do this. So we start off with a schedule trigger once again, right? And once that is completed, we once again search for the status to be image generated. This is for us to find the videos that we think we could start creating the baby videos for, okay? And so you can see I actually set return all because we only have one right now. But once again, we do have more videos that actually has the images as well. It would actually auto-generate for every single one of them. But we just want to do it one at a time for now. Okay, and once that is completed, we're going to go into the next node, which is the voiceover container. Right, this is where we're going to use a tool called HERA to help us generate these videos. So let's check out HERA. HERA is sort of like an AI video generator that's able to help us generate lip sync videos that is pretty high quality. I think it's one of the better quality AI video generator out there. What you want to do is to create a new account, and you do have 300 credits to get started for the free version. So you can try that out. And of course, if you want to generate more, you can pay for the different versions as well. Once you have that, we're going to use the API key to generate these videos for us. So go back to n8n. We're going to start off the very first one is where we need to put the voiceover into a container so that we can use it to generate the videos for us. Sort of like we have to upload the voiceover as well as the baby image into HERA so they can actually combine them together for us. So you can just get this from my blueprint, right? And you want to make sure that the method is post. The URL is api.hera.com/webapp public assets, okay? And then you want to connect to your HERA API key. So how we're going to get that is to make sure it's header off. Okay, we're going to go back to HERA and we're going to find profile. You're going to go into API. So we're going to take the API key over here, okay? Copy this. And we're going to go back to n8n, create a new header off over here, create a new credential, okay? You want to paste in your API key, and then you want to have the name be x-api-key, and just name this HERA. And you should be good to go. Once again, I'm going to close this because I already have it over here. All right, and then you want to send over the body, which would be this JSON format. And what this does is that we're going to give it a name, which is the file name that we upload for our audio file. And then the type would be audio. So you can see over here, once this is completed, to understand how this works, we have uploaded our audio file into a temporary container in HERA so that you can use it to generate our baby videos later on. You can change the name to whatever you want as well, such as audio 1, or you can be the user audio as well, right? It's up to you. Now that's completed, we're going to go into the second part, which is to download the voiceover. Right, this is for us to download the voiceover from Google Drive so that we can use it in our container over here. Right, so we're going to search for the URL from our previous node. You can see this is the audio URL that we have gotten earlier on, right? So we're just going to drag and paste this in, and we want the operation to be download by URL, and just view this.
Plans are bullshit. I'll give you a quote from one of my executives.
This is the audio file, right? So that's good. Okay, once it's completed, we want to upload the voice over to HERA. Right, so we just want to make sure this is post. The URL would be api.hera.com/webapp public assets. And then you want to paste in the JSON ID. You can find this over here. Drag and paste this in. Okay, and then same thing, make sure your authentication has been set over here to your HERA API. The body would be form data, the parameter type, n8n binary file, the name file, and the input data field name would be data, because we're getting it from the binary file over here for our audio. Once this is done, we have completed uploading the audio file. We need to next upload the image file, and then we can generate the videos. So what I'll do is just copy these three notes over here, paste this in, and do the same thing for images. Right, once again, create an image container. You're gonna set a JSON this time for the name for the image. I can name it baby image, and the type would be image. Once you've created a container, same thing, you want to download the image. This time we're gonna get the image URL instead of the audio over here. Paste this in. View it. This is the baby that we're going to start babyfying and creating our videos for. And then we want to upload the image. Same thing, make sure the JSON ID would be from the image file. Paste this in. And now the image has been uploaded into HERA. Okay, so once we have completed that, we want to next generate the baby video. Open this up. The URL this time would be public generations, right? To generate the video, the method is post. Okay, and then we're gonna send body JSON type. Open this up to see what this looks like. Okay, over here you can see the type would be video. Just to help you understand, the AI model will be HERA model. Okay, you can see the code over here. And then the start keyframe ID would be the image that we have uploaded. So to get this, we want to go into the image container over here and just drag the JSON ID and paste this in. And then we want the audio ID to be the voiceover we want to use for this image. So we're going to go into voiceover container and just drag the ID and paste this in. Lastly, we want to have a text prompt to help us make the video generated even more realistic. So we're just going to use the prompt that we have created for the image for this video itself. We can find it in the Airtable over here and just drag over the baby prompt and paste this in. Resolution, you can select 540p or 720p. So if you want a highest quality, 720p can be set here, but it will use up more credits. Aspect ratio, we want it to be 9:16 for our reels as well as our shots. And then duration ms, I'm going to set it to 5,000. And once you play this note, it will actually generate the video. So you can see over here, the generation has started. It takes a while to generate videos like this because the quality is pretty high as well. So I'll create a wait note afterwards, and then you want to set a wait amount of time. So I'll set it to 2 minutes, and sometimes if the quality is higher, it might take longer. So what you want to do is you could also up this to, let's say, 5 minutes as well. And then once that is completed, you should have the URL over here and it should say generated, right? How I actually do this is to use a get HTTP request, and then I want to set the URL to be api.hedra.com/webapp/public/assets type video and ID equals to the JSON asset ID, right? We want to drag this and paste this in. And then the credentials, make sure to connect to your HERA API as well. And then you should have something like this. You should have the URL of the video. And then we want to download the video, okay? Once again, another HTTP request, you're going to use the method get. The URL would be the JSON asset URL over here. Paste this in. Make sure to connect your HERA API as well. And then you want to make sure to set this option settings. You want a response. To have the response format would be file, okay? And then you want to put output in file, so they can have a file output for the video. And if you click download over here, you would get the video as well. And lastly, we want to upload it to Google Drive and update Airtable. So this is quite straightforward. We just want to give it a file name, and then we want to upload it into our drive. And then we want to update Airtable over here. So we're going to select the base, which would be original videos over here. And we want to update this field with the baby video. So we're going to go back and we're just going to update and match the ID, which would be from search baby, and we want to use this ID, paste this in, and the baby video would be from the latest link over here, web view link, paste this in, change the status to babyfied, and we are good to go. And that's how you get the baby video created and uploaded into Airtable. Perfect. And once you've reached this stage, you have the full process set up, from scraping videos from a creator on TikTok to generating babyfied videos for them. And then you just have to let the system run automatically to generate all these baby videos for you on autopilot. And that's it, your baby generation video. Now, of course, just another add-on bonus for you guys. If you want to also auto-publish these videos into your different social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. That's where we're going to go into our final AI agent system, which is this publishing agent team that I've created earlier to upload our videos onto our social platforms. Now, to really understand how I built this system, you can check out my previous video over here where I actually run through how I set up all the different API keys for this specific system. So do check that out to understand how to build this publishing system for yourself, okay? But just to showcase to you guys how this actually works, I'm going to run through the notes very quickly to show you how I built this. So let's test this workflow and see what happens. Okay, once it's completed, let's check out our social platforms. You can see over here at YouTube, we do have the latest video uploaded.
I'll give you a quote from one of my executive bodyguards. So he's had a bunch of people die next to him and he was in combat and all that kind of stuff. And I was like,
very cool. And let's check out Instagram as well. We do have the video uploaded.
Quote from one of my executive bodyguards. So he's had a bunch of people.
All right, and we do have it on TikTok as well. Okay.
I'll give you a quote from one of my executive bodyguards. So he's had a bunch of people die next to him and he was in combat.
All right, so how do we do this? Let's go back to n8n. Okay, you can see I have a schedule trigger node over here once again. And this time I'll search the record. I'll make sure that the status have been changed to babyfied. Okay, after searching the records, we want to have a publishing agent. And this agent will actually help us generate different captions for each of these different platforms. So how do we actually create these captions, right? Go back to n8n. You can see over here I have the publishing agent. Okay, I'm going to give it the input text field, which would be the caption from the original creator. And I'm going to give it a style tone. I'm going to call it Boss Baby for this specific example. You can of course change it to what you like. And then I'm going to give it a system message over here. Okay, it's a set of instructions. I'm going to tell you to create descriptions for the different social media platforms. I'm going to give it information about the input that is received, such as the text that we have given, our captions and descriptions that can use to create its own unique captions for the baby video. Okay, and then I tell it some platform-specific output requirements, right, such as Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And then of course I want it to have a JSON output format so that it can generate these different descriptions for these different platforms. Okay, once that is done, I want to make sure the output parser is set to a JSON format as well. And then I want to give it a large language model. I connect it to GPT-4o mini for this example. Okay, from there I'm going to download the video from the Airtable. Right, you can see over here. I'm just going to drag over the final baby video link and paste this in. Okay, you can view this.
Plans are bullshit. I'll give you a quote from.
Okay, so we do have the baby video downloaded, and then we're going to upload it to Cloudinary, and this is where I'm going to connect it to Cloudinary to upload my video for cloud hosting so that I can post it onto Instagram. And afterwards, I actually connected it to these 3 different agents. The first one is the YouTube agent. You just have to connect your YouTube credentials, okay? And then you just have to connect your title as well as the description over here from the previous publishing agent. Right, paste this in and you're good. And then I'll update the status on Airtable to set YouTube into upload. Right, I just have to find the ID from search record over here, paste this in, and we're good. Make sure it's from the original videos table as well. Right, so this is where you can see the YouTube status have been set to uploaded. And then we're going to do the same for TikTok as well as Instagram. For TikTok, I'm going to connect it to a API publishing service called upload-post to help me post these videos onto TikTok. Right, make sure to connect my credentials to it, the upload post credential, and then of course update the description here as well from the AI agent over here. Drag and paste this in, okay? And then same thing, update the status for TikTok to upload it. And then now for Instagram, the same thing, I would create a container using the Meta API to upload my video. I also select the description from the AI agent, okay, paste this in, and then I'll give it a wait note, 60 seconds. And then I want to post it to set to media publish to post the video onto Instagram. And then of course update the Instagram status as well. And then I will merge the nodes itself to receive the status from these 3 different fields. And then I want to make sure that this tree has been set to uploaded. So YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok has been set to uploaded before we update the final status for the baby podcast over here to uploaded. And that's how we get the full system completed. So of course I've run through this section pretty quickly, but to really understand how to connect the API to each of these specific nodes for the publishing agent system, once again do check out my previous video over here where I run through deep dive into how I set this whole system up. And then you just have to update the API specifically for this system to upload your baby videos onto your social media platforms, okay? So you can see I've actually created this publishing agent previously, and then now I actually connected it to this baby video modify it and use it for this specific system. And you can also do so by connecting this publishing system or this baby video and modifying it to create different types of videos for you as well. And so there you have it. This is your full baby podcast video system to convert all the way from scraping videos for you to generating baby images and finally generating baby videos for you to upload onto all your social media platforms. So if you want to go deeper into building content systems like this, not just for baby videos, but also for your own content systems, do join the community, link in the description below, where I'll go more in depth into building such content systems as well as weekly live support as well. So that's it for this video. I really hope you found this valuable, and if you have stayed till the end, I really appreciate you. Do give it a like and subscribe if you like videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.